our statement. Finally, inclusion. In the introduction, I have a question for every people here. And what will you do when Ho Chi Minh City lockdown in COVID-19? So, Mr. An, can you answer? Yeah.
My company will be about the time we will separate all the group, and then if we have a leader, and during that time, each member will report to the leader.
Yeah, thank you your answer. So that is sharing leadership. So we have the definition for sharing leadership. Leadership means we will share the power for every people in our group to control the team or department for achieve the goal of the company. So today our group will discuss about the statement of know-how in 2019. In the theory of leadership, in the 1924, Maria Flag had a first statement of concept, and in 2003, Peace and Kroger talk about the purpose of the sharing leadership is achieve the goal of the company. And Ms. Liu talk about sharing leadership influence impact with to every people in the group or in the company. And in 2019, Scott Young argued that the sharing leadership is a complex interaction process. And next session, and Mr. Lee and Ms. Green will talk about the critical evaluation.
Hi Lisa, hi Brian, hi everyone. My name is Green, a member of Group 7. Thanks for introducing about the theory and history of shared leadership. So how stated, shared leadership has become more and more important in today's organization to allow a faster response to more complex issues. Let's learn about the rational, critical evaluation as well as the positive outcome and negative outcome regarding to the statement. So, do you think what is the reason of statement? Okay, from my research, the increased interest in shared leadership, has been stimulated from the following factors. First of all, Paul said that an employee in modern organization can play the role of both leaders and followers. Secondly, Autumn also shared that no one has own skills to do own work. A single leader acting alone cannot do all things to help a company achieve the best performance. Also, many scholars explain that there is an increase in the knowledge, complexity, and autonomy work in the modern organization. For the reason in the knowledge intention work today, there is a lack confidence in the capacity of individual leaders. To deal with the challenge, the dynamic firms today they develop the cross-functional teams who comprise best employees with the various education, qualification, and work experience. Based on the structure of cross-functional team, shared leadership approach is adopted in today's organization increasingly. Who agree with the statement? Hooker said that shared leadership takes advantage of available resource of challenge in a company to improve the competitive edge. Also, Carson said that shared leadership is vital in complicated environment today, more than the single leadership. And Ainsley said that shared leadership has significantly impact to the growth and expansion of new venture. He gave example that the hotel when they he gave example that a hotel apply the shared leadership between two leaders, the task oriented and the behavior oriented in their change management strategy, and they get a lot of great results. Yeah. However, there are some scholars disagree with the statement. For example, quoting a group that shared leadership cannot replace completely for the traditional vertical leadership. The same Green also disagree with the statement. He said that the shared leadership is inconvenient because of the overlapped role and the overcrowded leaders in the company. Besides, Hodge also said that shared leadership is unsuccessfully in the firms which labor work the routine work and have the low freedom. For example, in the factory. And finally, also said that most often trust statement comes from the culture and mindset of the own people from thousands of years, that the leadership is always singular, same as in the Germany company or the big family company in Korean or in Vietnam. Yeah. Following, Mr. Lee will present about the positive outcome and negative outcome of shared leadership.
Okay. Presentation. The next presentation, I would like to see the positive and negative outcomes. Based on up you can see the slides. I divide the positive outcome into the four parts. The first is team performance, the second team effectiveness, the third is innovation and collaboration, and the final one is creativity. Okay, the first one is team performance. While the shared leadership is team performance, you can see the definition from because the shared leadership can help enhance the team trust. This means if the team trust, they can do the team coordination. Shared leadership has an indirect effect on the team performance. And the second is regarding to the team effectiveness, because if the team member in the shared leadership can be proactive, they can share their influence with the knowledge and their knowledge, their skill with the team member, and other reason they can improve the team effectiveness. You can see the definition of the US 2019 and the team technical and adaptive capacity improve. And the next one related to the positive outcome, we have innovation and collaboration and creativity. Because when the team member is motivated, they can share the influence. They can work together within their team. They can improve their knowledge. They can share the knowledge. They can be a problem solving, and they can that's the reason they will create innovation or collaboration, and also the employee creativity in the shared leadership. in a contract with the negative outcome, we also have the negative outcome. Yeah. Negative outcome, we also said for the component. The first, because if there is a barrier when the employee do not regard the consume and commit activity to be a part of their job. The reason why there is a barrier when the employee do not regard the consume, because consume is it means the develop of teamwork and leadership, and if the employee do not regard the consume, they not be a part of their job. So this will be negative impact outcome to the fair leadership or team attitude battle and individual career goals potential barrier to effective in decision making. And I just said the reason why we have negative the same the result here is so many marks. For example, 9 people have 10 ideas. So sometimes they cannot reach the success. That reason the impact to negative outcome. And the final one is the negative outcome related to the broad overlap. Because if a lot of the employee have multi-broad, they have the same time they can handle, they can limit their talent, make it impossible to perform the work. Okay.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much. I'm Nhom, and today I'm going to talk about the concept of shared leadership during the global pandemic. As you know, the COVID-19 pandemic has taken place for more than 2 years. Since early 2020, pandemic affects human life around the world, not only in the aspect of public health, but also in the economic and social sector in various activities. The current situation poses an enormous challenge for leaders in the world. And there are features of shared leadership that, if implemented correctly, can improve the outcome to pandemic. And one great example of shared leadership is in education. The crisis had a strong and deep impact on higher education at all levels due to the complexity of education institutions and their multi-faceted mission of teaching, conducting research, and contributing to society, managing trend in academia during the COVID-19 become a profound challenge for leaders. Shared leadership is not a new concept in the education leadership community and is now widely advocated across public, private, and not-for-profit settings. Organizations that have implemented shared leadership have been able to learn, innovate, perform, and adapt to the types of external challenges that campuses now face and that will continue to shape higher education moving forward. And I will give you an example of university that implemented shared leadership is University of Economics Ho Chi Minh City, UEH. And at UEH, the principal, teachers, students, and parents working together is a powerful leadership level in the pandemic. The university recognizes and develops leadership among many different kinds of individuals, representing on education stakeholders to effectively model and develop a school lineage. This university also focuses on developing teachers and empowering them to become leaders during the pandemic. the teacher feel connected. They motivate and nurture other teacher. When teacher are given leadership opportunity, the university is more likely to retain teacher for the long term. University of Economic Opportunity has also established the alumni network to help generations of UEH students like cooperate and support each other to develop during the pandemic. This university instead of the school manager directly support students in these things, they empower to UEH alumni. The network also helps students promote the good tradition and pride of being a student of the school. UEH alumni bring three core values to member HUC. Firstly, connecting. Students have many opportunity to connect with many people in the community. Sharing, students can participate and share their interests in culture, sport, volunteer activity in the community. And finally, is personal and professional development. Network members have the opportunity to participate in workshops to update professional knowledge and lifelong learning. In particular, students can interact with successful leaders and entrepreneurs. It's the end of my talk, and now I would like to invite Ms. Nhom for the next part. So my part will give you a more example of my organization. So as you may all know, during the COVID-19, the government strategy that has been we have been well controlled over the fourth wave of the COVID. And but still, the COVID has left scars on service and traveling, and also up to 2 million people lost their job, and monthly average income come down to $5 million, which is 10 years old. People find difficulty to obtaining food, and therefore have to increase the cost in order to continue to operate their business. And by that, Visiting Bank has released a $115 trillion supporting package, which is focused on lowering the loans interest rates as well as lowering the service fee for customers. And the problem is, how do we know that which cases is eligible for the supporting package? So in the more normal situation, it is up to the head office to decide which or who will be suitable for the package. But in the COVID, it's the responsibility is transferred to the branches, and the branch will decide themselves which or what customer is suitable for the package. And by that, the implementation of these strategies has helped the customer the Visiting Bank employee to quickly respond to every cases, as well as they know and they adapt to a particular case. For example, a firm may need to lower the loans, but the other firm who don't borrow the money from the bank might also need to reduce the service fee. And also in that implementation, the employees, they improve their engagement to the organization because they have to be responsible for their decision. And also it's leverage their innovation, because apart from the package that I have shown you before, later on they have released another package which is target at doctors and nurses who have put in a lot of their effort and time for the public health, which is called the frontline package. And The result is that after a year applying the package, the customer satisfaction has been increased according to our surveys at the end of last year. So I would like to summarize our group presentation. Firstly, Mr. Đức have given the meaning of the shared leadership, which is a group of individuals who share the power and lead each other to achieve the common goal. And our group also believes that each individual can both be a leader and followers to especially there are barriers of skill sets in need for the complexity and autonomy work. And also we believe that the outcome of have been proven from both theory and practice that shared leadership can help the team to best complete, more connecting, and also have employee more engaging, as well as quickly respond and adapt to particular problems. Thank you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate.
Okay, thank you. We need a couple of questions. The quicker you ask questions, the quicker everybody finishes. And you can go on.
I've got a question. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No.
Any questions?
Can you hear me, Lisa?
Brian, can you hear me?
Yes.
Ah. Okay, so my question is, do you think the concept in your organizations, do you think there's more shared leadership following the pandemic, or do you think it made no difference at all?
Sorry, Lisa, you mean that in the in our organization, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let me respond to your question. For example, in my company is a retail work in the retail industry, and in the pandemic we have a lot of problem with the like from the supply chain. They say that the bottleneck of supply chain, and also because of the bottleneck of the supply chain, we have the issue with the merchandising. I mean that we cannot buy the products to sell by our online channel, and also we have a problem with the retail channel because all our store have been closed during the pandemic. Based on all the situation, all the issue and the challenge during the pandemic, our company applied the shared leadership, we combine the cross-functional team like logistic team, like the operation team, the merchandise team, and the finance team. All the best employee in the cross-functional team, we work together and solve the problem during the pandemic. Yeah.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Sorry, I've got a second thing. Sorry, Brian. Just is it now more acceptable to have shared leadership, or have you just gone back to the same?
Sorry, can you repeat again?
Is it now more? Now that the pandemic is reducing, are you changing back to not shared leadership, or are you keeping shared leadership?
Yes. I understand. Actually, until now, our company still apply the share leadership because we know that the single leader, our COE say that the single leader cannot do all things to drive the company to achieve the best performance. So even the pandemic is the pandemic is not seriously, but we still apply that because actually we also don't know when the COVID-19 will impact again or another pandemic. So we think that the shared leadership approach is suitable for our modern organization. Yeah, and also we not only apply in our company because our company is a group company based in Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand. So we apply the shared leadership for all regional entity. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Fred.
And I was just wondering how you've got this is quite high in Vietnamese business culture. And how do you like with hierarchy? How does shared leadership work in that business culture?
Yeah. So you mean with the Vietnam culture, right? Yeah. So
you mentioned the bank to be quite hierarchical.
Yes. So I think Mr. Nhom recently working in the Vietnam company, they can share our experience. Give us a minute, I think.
Discuss.
Okay, actually, I think in Vietnam, we have we also have a lot of modern organization beside the traditional organization. So I think yeah, I think in the big family company in Vietnam, maybe some of them still worry and still considering about the shared leadership approach. But also we have many new company and also the many modern organization established every day. So and I believe that the COE and the leader of the company is also young like us, and we have the new education and the new the new mindset that the shared leadership is better than the traditional leadership. As we always hear that work together, we will get more.
Okay, thank you very much. That's it. Team number 4. Over.
for this. Can you send them to me?
Hello, Dr. Lisa. Hello, Dr. Brian. Okay, sorry. Hello, everyone. And hello, Dr. Lisa. Hello, Dr. Brian. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our presentation with the topic leadership development. And before starting our presentation today, we would like to invite all of you to watch a video.
What executive education can help to do is to expose managers to a wide range of people to help them to identify the kinds of people they're working for. That requires reflection, it requires listening to people. You have to make an assessment of who needs learning and development, so that it's not just the workers, but it's also the executives.
The most important thing is investing in the people that you have today in your organisation, because they're already here and they're committed, and actually the talent you have within your organisation, investing in them, developing them is more important than
Yeah, actually, it's not only workers need training and development activities, but also the executives. So leadership development is one of the most crucial concerns for many companies nowadays. And if a company commit to growing its leader, it might expect to receive a significant advantage by boosting the bottom line, developing and keeping people, and also driving the strategic execution, and also enhancing the people performance while managing change, right? So today we will present a leader and leadership development, and our team has 4 members. The first, my name is Mr. Phạm Ngọc Nhân. Yeah. Thank you. The next one is Mr. Trần Anh. Another member is Mr. Nguyễn Đức Huy. Yeah. And the last member is Mr. Lê Đức Thịnh. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting us. Okay. And in the introduction part, we will present the quotation training programs and development activities are more likely to be effective if they are compatible and used in a mutually supportive way. They prepare for managers for future positions, and rather than focusing only on the current job requirements, and which this quotation is taken from the book Leadership in Organizations by Dr. Yoko and his associate, and published in 2020, and also by the Pearson Education Limited. And actually, there are 3 main parts in our presentation. The first is about the context of the concept in the quotation. We will introduce about when was the theory introduced, which leadership theory does the quotation relate to. And the second part, in the second part, we will share to you about the rationale of the statement and critical evaluation. And in the third part, we will share to you about the critical reflection of the relevance of the concept in question in relation to the leadership development during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, and so right now, our member, Mr. Carr, will share to you the first main part of our presentation.
Okay, thank you, Jan. Hello, everybody. So let me start with the first main part of the presentations. We will talk about the history of leadership development to find out where it's going to live. Okay, first I would like to show you the timeline of leadership approaches. Okay, you can find out on the timeline. From 1930 to 2010, lots of leadership theory, the change from Britain, French skill, behavior, contingency. English is leadership theory, leader member exchange, servant leadership, charismatic leadership, transactional leadership, transformational leadership, distributed leadership, alternative leadership, and finally is entrepreneurial leadership. Look at, okay, and next I would like to tell you, show you the history of leadership development. It may be claimed that the first half of 20th century, from this, you can find out the assumption was that organizations just want to find out the average person to become a leader rather than the more people have the potential to become a leader. So can develop the leadership training. This change with the development behavioral leadership theory and as results, the leadership development and health shifted. Although leadership training is one part of leadership development, it will primarily focus on reverse century, with the emphasis shifting from knowledge training to behavioral training in 1960. So, and our presentation is leadership development. It started in the early of the 21st century. Okay, so I would like to invite our member to be for next part.
Thanks again. Hi everyone. What the theory, leadership theory, is the quotations related to. The quotation is about leadership development. So it could be related to all the theory of leadership development. Leadership. Why? Because all the theory leadership, there will be some aspect that can be developed. For example, transformation leadership. You can either develop your influence by some training to improve your leading by example, skill trust to show confidence and enthusiasm, or you can improve your inspirational motivation skill by improving your communication skill to communicate to your followers so that they can understand what you need to do and why to do. So that they can perform better. For intellectual stimulation, you can improve your intellectual intelligence by some brain training. And integral consideration, you can improve your skill, communication skill. If you want to improve your emotional intelligence, including your self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skill. You can seek many types of training, leadership and development training to understand your emotion, to know when it go up, when it go down, to control it, to leverage it, or to express it statically. There will be some courses like relationship management on how to control your emotion, how to influence, to resolve conflict, and etc. So we have just finished the part 2.1, when we discussed the analysis of leadership development, story when it's introduced, and the theory related to. Now I would like to invite to continue our presentation with part 2.2, evaluate the quotation.
Thank you, Mr. Wing. To some extent, I will present the rationale for the statement and the critical evaluation for the written development. To some extent, this is the difference between the training program and the developmental activity. This is existent, and however, I want to argue this concept is mutually to the compatible with it. And the facilitating the factor include the developmental readiness for the leader and the organizational attribute. This is three combination with the first one to support for the skill development for the leader and the co-worker, and the secondly to reward the symptom to encourage the skill, and finally to support for the cultural value to support the continuous learning of the quotation in Yoko 2021. With the critical value the effective learning to focus on the official learning and the developmental activity to improve the experiment skill from the reality working. And this is one the viewpoint to focus on the compatible with the connect with the performance and the self-help action on the developmental on the continuous learning environment. And with this report, we know the example of the report and support for this. This is the case of the P&J. This is the mutually and retail company limited in the top of the retailing aspect of the game. This includes the net leadership and the team adapt to the digital change in the retail aspect, and this build the leadership program to enhance the IQs and the EQ for support for the emotional intelligence of the co-worker and the leadership in the future. And the next point to connect with the supportive way for the leadership development or the training activity to tend to the growth of the HR participants in the company. And this to link the example in the everything company in Vietnam. You know, the everything was values of the company in the technology service in Vietnam and Southeast Asia, and it's in development the training for the individual to plan the different portions and it had a lot of opportunity for the capacity of the unit and economics, the factor in the university, and it's build active the leader in organization and self-development within the individual. And the billboards are the other sort to support for this billboard. You can say the how will come in the 2015 to focus the research and training practice activity to put the development leadership quality. And some of the other billboards you can see that this is this is the billboards of the time 20 hour to grow the developmental of the individual leader with support the organization achievements. And we can the other billboards of the peace and his partner in 2013 to arrange the leadership development to help the goals and support the leadership relevant. With the Richard and Johnson to prepare the study about leadership development to appropriate with the organizational the SCORE strategy with the human resource operational to the success. And finally, we want to link with this presentation in the SWOT in 2014 to show the viewpoint minority to believe this the leadership training program as huge effective with the organization. And in 2020, local would to update this expectations and with the content on the training program or the developmental activity or the leadership program to practice the developmental activity to limit the SWOT report about the compatible and the supportive way for this learning. And I think this is the pros and cons of the viewpoint, and in the next session, the Mr. Cam will talk about the pros and cons.
Thank you, please. So next part, I would like to talk about the negative and positive outcome of leadership development. Leadership development program reward for organizational success and growth. Each however, help both negative and positive outcomes. So on the slide, you can find out also negative outcome of leadership development. So I emphasize on if you get your employees for training in leadership development, but the employee sorry. Okay, you can find out lots of outcome. Then some is different from participants to put what they are taught into practice, and the next negative outcome is commonly with this training cost help is splendid. I would like to emphasize on this negative outcome. That means if you have the employee takes part in the program, but that employee they quit your organization shortly or didn't apply what they are taught into your organization. And the other negative outcome is excessive relation with your application or ignoring the influence of the company culture or failing to spread the right results. That means we send our employee to join with the training program of the development class, but have no any effective. So next we move to the positive outcome. Okay, opposite to the negative outcome, we also have some positive outcome for the training leadership development. It has to push up morals and retention. That means when you send your employee to take up in for development programs, so they can help them and have more long-term cooperation with your company. The other, good productivity or accurate better decision making, try to improve and develop. And next, have business develop unique and efficient strategy and able to create a positive impact of the leadership. So, and next we will we move to the relevance of leadership development during the global pandemic, which will be presented to our team.
Thanks, Chair. For the 2.3, we will talk about the pandemic. So, to begin, it is to really reflect the relevant position of the global pandemic. To begin, we would like to see a very interesting video. Yes, it's COVID. It's scary. So COVID-19 is really a massive shock to the economy at a record, I think, and it caused the breaking of the supply chains all over the world. There's many companies can survive the pandemic, and many company business has been disrupted by the supply chain issue, and to the government policy and measure is a lot of measures set out to set up over the virus, closing the school, closing the business, closing the public transport, and also hygiene, quarantine, testing, wearing masks, and things like that. So, what is the company focus in the pandemic? The company have to implement all the government policy and measures. They have to rework the space of work inside the corporate of people and think of the risk mitigation tool and technology, and also resolve at the same time they have to resolve the economic issue and supply chain issue. As a result, the training and development activity of leadership is became the next priority, and some companies just started and some keep it online. And now Mr. Nhom from our team will talk about the online training. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Hui. Yeah, as Mr. Hui said that, in the COVID-19 pandemic, many companies, they organize the online learning and development activities. So we will go to some research about the COVID-19 pandemic related to the training and development activities. So in the COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected the way in the life in general and the learning in particular, and has prompted tremendous growth in online learning in the new situation. Besides that, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the entire population was affected, and distant and restricted practice has disrupted traditional educational practices, and people have had to embrace the online learning. Okay, besides the conditions of organizing the class online, many corporates, they choose the online learning because, according to the Strata 2002, e-learning is less expensive than traditional classroom instruction. Besides that, when we organize the online learning, many companies produce a lot of courses related to the training facilities, the travel costs for employees, and also the trainers, and also plus the employee time away from the job are greatly reduced. So with that, convenience of the online learning. So what is actually the disaggregated effect of it? So actually, according to Strata 2002, some businesses have invested heavily in new learning initiatives, have not seen, desire the benefits from the online learning. Besides that, we have one more research about many respondents who said online courses were useless
and inefficient during COVID-19 pandemic were motivated by their inability to attend the lectures online, and they need for time to acclimate. Okay, so with that, some information about learning and development that organized online. So what are the expectations for leaders, and what capabilities should the training and development activities provide for leaders? And yeah, in the last part, maybe Mr. Hui will continue to share with us some information about that.
Thanks, Nhom. So, training program that prepare for the situation like pandemic. So, what is expected to the leader of an organization during the pandemic? According to Policy and Exhibit 2020, a sense of health and ability to see things through successfully with the minimum hurt to the company is very essential. In normal situation, it's clear that the rate of leader are very important. So in the pandemic, everyone will look at the leader to project the situation and give guidance to them to then get through the situation successfully. So being calm is very essential, and able to provide good guidance to get everyone to go through the situation is also very essential. According to Diane Lee and his associate, in the pandemic, the communication continuously on the situation is very important, and the ability to call for the collaboration of every people of the organization is very essential. Communication is able to communicate strategically to avoid the rumor to develop. The leader should be able to communicate strategically and timely communicate to all the organizations, the decision and the priority. It has to be rapid and it's not delayed for hours or days or weeks, and keeping silence in the worst things happening. It is when the rumor will develop. Furthermore, the leader must be able to call for the collaboration of every party in the organization. And according to Jen and Speak for 2021, in a situation like pandemic, leading by example, responsibility and good empathy is also very important. We are living in the community. Our community is located in the community, so it's very important to set a model behavior of community support and community practice is very important. And giving the empathy during the difficult situation in the attack of the virus is good presentation of the great leadership. So, how leadership can the development program can support the leader to handle the difficult situation like pandemic. According to Matt and World Children 2021, the training program and the development should be able to provide the productivity, which is able to have the leader to improve their critical structure recently, so that they can project the situation and help people get through the situation, difficult situation. And it also have to be able to provide the leader of relationality, which is improve their ability to analyze and make the view when the situation arises. And also it is about the responsibility of the leader. It is to improve the ability to assess, make judgment, and making decisions for the greater good, not just for this or anyone personal purpose.
great leadership is essential for all organizations, particularly in difficult situations like pandemic. Like any other skill and knowledge, leadership cannot be manufactured overnight. So it needs time to improve. And like we said earlier, leadership capability can be developed, can be trained to be better every day. So the organization and the people need to identify where your weak area and starting to develop and becoming within them today. So we have just finished our part 2.3, where we discussed and reflect on the leadership development in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now I will hand over to Mr. Kat to summarize what we have gone through today.
Thank you. Sorry, everybody. Maybe your phone is asleep. Just try some minutes, then we finish. Our team have just completed 3 part of the presentations, so we can conclude with some point. Please see on the screen. Leadership development effective one is virtual consistent and interacting with the organization objective. And the second is to be supported by a strong learning culture, shareways, and common practice. Final is to be connected with other human resource activities. And in the COVID pandemic, so every leadership development of every organization should be changed to adapt to the scenario. First, company must decide a way to maintain great performance. Okay, that's finished. Thank you for your attention. Okay, the final part is Q&A. Please write us a question.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in the pandemic, a lot of the training went online, which is really interesting. Do you think other methods of leadership development, like mentoring and coaching, were reduced? In your organizations, did you see any mentoring and coaching activities during the pandemic, or do you think those types of leadership development weren't as practical anymore?
Yes, I work in a bank, and there's still of course they have many other priorities to focus on, but they still keep the training and they do it online. And yes, there's still some mentoring and some training about leadership development during the pandemic. Actually, in the banking community, the top talent program, we run it every year. We do not stop it. We just make it online.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, please?
Just with regards to online training, it much happened how successful was it?
This is really like it is much more less effective than the face-to-face training, but it is better than doing online. So even actually in normal the traditional classroom, actually we have the room to do many activities during learning, in the classroom. But in the online learning, maybe we have not much condition like the normal situation. But as I said, in the COVID-19 pandemic, actually online learning is the best choice for many corporates. And by the way, I would like to get some information related to the Lisa question. Actually, in my company, in the normal situation, we organize the coaching program, but unfortunately, the COVID-19 occurs, and my company keep continue keeping the coaching program, but we organize online, and maybe after 1 year of organizing the coaching program, maybe the program successfully. Yeah, so actually online learning is no problem with many organizations. Yeah.
In summarize, we see in the COVID practice, we have shown with the class online, I think is also effective. We ourselves are API program. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
May I ask the last question?
Yeah.
Why any practice after this enforced the development of leadership quality?
I think this is the most important thing is identify the quality to improve them, to build the program or the plan to take the emotional intelligence and the skill to enhance the ability of each individual and the support for the organization purpose. With the loss of the activity, can you learn with the training programs or the coaching or the mentoring or the complete the difficult task or the self-development? And I think this is the best thing to construct the individual thinking and support for the process in the leadership for the sustainable future. Yes. Thank you, everyone.